Racing boys and girls, and today we are going to have a little conversation. We went racing last weekend, and I've been promising a wrap up on the racing, and so we're going to talk about it. You kind of got a Cliff Notes version last Sunday on what happened, and basically we went to test and tune after a whole day of just stuff that shouldn't have happened, stuff that took too long. It was like the perfect storm of further down the spiral. And my water pump, for lack of a better term, quit. As far as I knew, it quit. It was pumping, but would not pump water, which made no sense to me, but okay, whatever, I'm over it. I got a new pump at home, get on the horn to the wife, to Tim, to whoever, get the water pump down to me, have the old one off, have everything cleaned up, ready to slam it on. Absolutely did not work. Water pump did not do what I needed it to do. Put the new water pump on, it did the same thing. And what was happening was it was airlocking. And I've never had my car do that I know of. It's just that I know of. Never had to do it that I know of. Well, now it's doing it. And now I know you pull the bolt out, bleed it out, bleed it out. Me and Jim at JC have talked about possibly putting a bleeder line on it to bleed it to the intake and some stuff like that. Don't know if that's going to come to fruition or not. It was just a conversation we had on my way home from the track last Sunday. So we messed around all day Saturday, and we didn't race Saturday. You know, trying to figure out what's going on with this thing. Why is it not working? Why is my brand new reman pump not working? Why is my old pump not working? Why? So that pretty much was everything. We got one pass on Friday night, and it was a decent pass, but the car was a little warmer than it should have been, so I already think the pump was giving me some issues, and it was just a bunch. It was a crap show of a pass. I do have video of it. I'll put it in here from inside the car. Alright, it is what it is. Saturday we didn't make a pass, we didn't drive the car. We started the car, I can't say we didn't drive the car. We started the car, drove it around the pits, made sure everything was good after we burped it out of air, filled the water, everything was great. Sunday morning, man, hopes are high. We're in a good mood, car's working, warmed it up in the pits. I gotta stop putting my hand there. Warmed it up in the pits, drove it around, water pump's working, car's not getting hot. Let's go up up and make our first pass. And I double entered. I mean, the second I basically paid for 2 time trials because I entered Sportsman, which my car is not legal for Sportsman. I mean, it could be, but I'd have to take a couple of things out of it to make it legal for Sportsman, and, well, I'm not doing it. I needed to test the car as is. So I paid for 2 time trials, basically. First time trial and the first round. And luckily they have moved Sportsman to be in front of Mod, or Pro, or No Box, whatever you want to call the class. But they do Sportsman, No Box, Box, and then I think Bikes and Juniors or whatever. So that's kind of the way it shakes out. Actually, I think it's Juniors then Bikes. But I went up for my first time trial in Sportsman. Get up there, go start the car in the lanes, crank over hard, wouldn't turn over, freaking battery's dead. And I knew I was pushing my luck on this battery, but it's been good. And luckily I had a spare in the trailer, ran, got the spare, got everything swapped out. Well, by the time I got it swapped out, we're into Mod, or No Box. And we got that changed. Put it up on the brake on the 2-step. I was time trialing against my buddy Adam and his beautiful Cutlass. His car is gorgeous. Mine looks like a piece of junk compared to his. But anyways, so up on the 2-step, I let off the brake, and somehow I came back across and hit the brake button again. You talk about up, down. It was a complete crap show because I didn't know at the time what just happened. I'm like, what the hell just happened? get down to the end of the track, and I push the button, let go, push the button, let go, launch the car a couple times. Well, evidently the second time I stayed in a little too long and might smoke the tires a little too long because, well, here comes the dude on the golf car like, hey, we thought you were on fire, we saw smoke, we shut down the track and we came looking for you. So, all right, well, sorry. I was checking the brake. He was really cool. He's like, I understand you gotta make sure it works. And I'm like, that's what I was doing. All right, whatever. That was what it was, and that's what I thought it was. I didn't go back and watch the GoPro footage to Tuesday, and I have GoPro footage of me coming back across the button. So we'll put that in here somewhere. Now that you've seen me screw up, okay, we go back up for my odd time trial. All right, we're gonna go knock this out, and we go up there. Now the car's heating up again. It wasn't bad in the staging lanes, and as I was getting ready to pull onto the track, it gets up about 190, 195, and I'm like, that's not good. 180 is like ideal, but when I pull onto the track, I pull on at 170. It's 180 by the time I get to the line. Thereabouts. It's not an exact science. I get it close, and it's up almost 200, or a little over 200 by the time I take the line. I'm like, well, this is not going to be a good time trial. And overall, it was an okay time trial, but the car was slower, hence it was hot. Well, I get to the end of the track, and it's up to 210, 215, and I'm like, what the hell is going on with this thing? Back to the pits, and it's steaming, and I'm like, where the hell is this steam coming from? Well, evidently, through all of our fighting with it on Saturday, we didn't tighten the bolt back up. That was the one we were using to bleed it, so it had left the chat. Great, that's just what I needed. But luckily I had the spare water pump, took the bolt out of it. We actually had taken the new cartridge out of my Oldsmobile one and put it in the small lug Chevy one to try to figure out what was going on, and I'm going to switch them back. I just haven't made it that far because I need to drain all the crap water out of my car and put good distilled water in my car. Whatever, that's a whole nother subject. So the bolt's out. Here they come on the golf cart again. The gentleman and the lady who's running the track. Do you know that you dumped all your water in the burnout box? No, I didn't know I dumped all my water in the burnout box, but I do know I lost all my water somewhere. So, and they were actually really, really cool. I'm like, look, I'm sorry. Yesterday, and she knows because I went and asked her, and they gave me my refund, So she knows I was having a bad day yesterday. I said, I worked all day yesterday. I don't know what happened. I kind of knew, but I'm only speculating. That we didn't tighten everything. So we tightened all the bolts, and I mean all the bolts because some of the other ones were loose too. Putting more water in it, got everything burnt, messed around, and went up for first round the Sportsman, and I made a decent pass. I don't fully remember what all went on, but it was a pretty decent pass, and I think it was like a 667, somewhere in there. So I go up for first round of mod, or no box, whatever you want to call it. I will probably forever call it mod. And I make a really good pass, but it's a throwaway pass. And what I mean by throwaway, and this drives my wife nuts, good light, going down the track, and I drove around the dude with the Mustang. I mean, I am in front of him. And I'm like, all right, I got to back into him because I'm going to break out if I don't. And my wife is one of those, she believes I should floor it the whole way down the track and don't care what's going on in the other lane, which we will get to why you don't do that in a minute. So I'm like, I am absolutely not doing that. I get down there, I'm grabbing brake, ripping it, I'm doing whatever because I am 6 car lengths in front of this guy. I don't think it's that bad, but I am in front of him. And so we ran a 679 on a 670 dial, so you can tell how much we slowed down. And so I get the ticket, and he had like a 0.2 light to my 013. So I mean, he was mathematically ineligible as soon as as soon as I let go of the button. So whatever, that one was done. And obviously I broke out on my Sportsman, but I was technically disqualified as soon as I used the trans brake and or my shifter, because it's an electric shifter. Neither one of those are allowed in Sportsman, and I just wanted the time trial. So we go up for next round of mod, round number 2, and I successfully screw up again. Actually, what happened was I had my hand open, and I came off the trans brake button, and somehow one of my fingers pushed it back in, and I felt it do it that time. And I'm like, what the hell? All right, well, the guy's way gone, and I'm just like, whatever, drive down the track. Get to the finish, get to the 8th mile. It's a 4-mile track, so the billboards are way in front of you. Get to the 8th mile. My wind light comes on. Dude's bus links in front of me. What? He broke out. He broke out by 500ths. He needs to go buy a boat because, yeah, that was a bad day for him. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, but that's why, even though my wife or you have to pay attention to what's going on beside you. I have seen it more times than I'd like to talk about. I saw a guy at Norwalk once spin out, tag the wall, and still win. Because, well, mathematically, but I believe if you hit the wall, you're out of bounds, or it's like crossing the center line. At least that's how it works in the NHRA. If you touch the wall, you're out. So, but guy broke out. Same thing there, you know. You've got to pay attention to what's going on around you, in my opinion. In my opinion only. My wife will tell you I'm wrong. And so, on to round number 3. All right, round number 3 is my finally a good, clean pass, for the most part. And this is why it drives my wife nuts. I love her dearly. Let's get that steering wheel out of the way. It's driving me nuts. I'm like, it's still not a clean pass. Well, what do you mean it's not a clean pass? Well, I was trying to win the race, and I still broke out bad. I killed 3 miles per hour, and I still went a 663, and I killed 3 miles an hour. I dialed a 670 because I still wasn't sure where the car was going to fall. I thought it would be a little faster, but I wanted to cover in case something stupid, because I didn't have a vlog on one run. But I'm almost wondering if I could raise that button enough real quick just to kick the 2-step in and out. It may have happened, I'm not sure. That was in my Sportsman pass. unfolding because I did not know what was going to happen. And the long and short of it is, I moved the button, which you guys have seen the video of, me moving the button. And I'm not used to it. Plus, I took all the shims and everything out, which we talked about in that video. So now, instead of it moving that far, it moves that far. Well, it's like that far, but still. It moves a lot more now. So, it used to be just, now it's, you know, I have to get used to it. Now, all that's going to come from driving the car, and I have to pay more attention to my trans brake button. You know, I have a long travel, it's an apex button now. I had a Terminator, and I couldn't get it to do what I wanted it to do. But I think that was more the car than the button. But I went to the apex under suggestion of some friends, and I like it so far, and I've actually finally been able to take shims out of it. I just have to pay attention to the way I release it and where I put my hand after I release it. So, anyways, that's kind of what we needed to summarize on. We need a driver mod because evidently I'm not a good enough driver. That's not going to happen. But I got to work on a bunch of things to make it better. Car made passes. We got some work to do. We got some tuning to do. Me and JC have been talking about some tuning and some stuff. And we tried to make some plans, but every time we do, stuff just keeps falling off the face of the earth. And, you know, we were going to go to Bunker this last Friday, but some other stuff came up. We're hoping to get the car back to the track for a test and tune. I don't know if it'll be this Friday. I don't know if it'll be in the near future, or it might not be, because we're not racing. We didn't race this weekend. We're not racing next weekend, Father's Day. And then the following weekend is the next race weekend. I don't know if it's just going to be go on that Friday and hope everything works. I truly would like to get another one in between, but my schedule sucks. So I'm really going to try for next Friday. There should be, let's see, Father's Day's 15th, 14th, 13th. Hopefully I don't know, Friday the 13th. Might try that. We'll see. I'm not sure. We got to get some time in the car. We got to get some dial-ins on the car. We just got to spend some time working through the bugs of new stuff, new setup, new stuff. And that's what we need to get done. And hopefully we're going to have some better racing weekends coming up. You know what? We went the third round with a gift. Thankfully for a gift. Actually, two of them were a gift. You know, the Mustang one, nice guy. He just didn't get a light. And thank you. The other guy that broke out, big thank you. That was a true gift. And then the AMX, he just put it on me. But yeah, Ricky's my nemesis. I can't seem to get around him, but his day is coming. I'm going to get his number one of these days. And I don't sit here and be like, oh, nobody's beatable. Everybody's beatable. I have to do the better race, and I do the best I can. And well, last Sunday wasn't my day. It truly wasn't. But we made passes in the car. We finally made passes. We lost all on Friday, but we're out making passes on Sunday. So, with that all being said, please like, share, subscribe, comment. You know, do all the things I ask you to do. Please keep following along. And we will get you boys and girls in the next one. Or at least I sure hope to. And catch you all later.